Yep.
We'll live. We'll live.
We are live. We are live. I am.
No,
I am
it was a
picking
play
up
on words
Pokemon.
because he said we'll live, so we'll live. It's the same thing written out. It's
we'll live, relive.
I'm too clever for myself sometimes.
So modest as well.
All that made me think was anime. There's a bunch of anime that are like RE life, and it's, I don't know. Anyways, don't worry.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird titles like that.
Yeah, it's just like what is happening?
Anime weirdness? Never.
Never, dude.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Never, dude. But
I listened to an anime podcast that reminds me of Tim because one of the people is like never watched anime. So the whole podcast is like him and 3 other people who are into anime and introducing him to it. And they just like go episode by episode and just like discuss and like get his reactions and everything.
What
that sounds
anime did they
awful.
watch? No, this sounds fantastic. Actually, what
they started with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and then they took a break from that to do One Punch Man.
Oh, that's a good palate cleanser.
Yep, they did some more JoJo's, and then they did Cowboy Bebop most recently.
Ooh,
okay, Cowboy Bebop is the shit.
They got serious.
I think everyone can agree on that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Honestly, you want to know what I like the most about Cowboy Bebop? The soundtrack.
That it's Firefly anime?
No, dude, the soundtrack. Like even like don't get me wrong, the anime is still good, but like I have just listened to the soundtrack before because it's fucking fantastic. And I just love the vibes of it. It also reminds me of do you remember Big O?
Yeah.
Yeah, same like kind of vibe.
Big
O's a little bit more
music.
Yeah, Big O is a little bit more like Batman. You know what I mean? Kind of, but
yes, absolutely.
But the musics, the music, not the musics, and each one
the musics
are very similar. Yeah, man.
It's definitely a big part of the anime. All of Shinichiro Watanabe's animes that he directs, like music plays a huge role.
Bless you.
Shampoo, Carol and Tuesday. Thank you. Yes. Oh my god.
Carol and Tuesday, man. I need to watch that. I need to watch it.
I've only watched the first season, but Andrea watched both, and the animation is incredible.
Actually, Tim, have you watched Samurai Champloo? I'm assuming not. Okay, hey, I don't tell you to watch a lot of anime.
Yes,
but that is one you would like.
Yes, you do.
No,
like
I don't.
Once a month. Once a month.
What was the last one I recommended?
I think the last one was Berserk.
I haven't even watched Berserk. I haven't watched Berserk. But it's also...
Who told me to watch Berserk then?
It was probably Justin.
It wasn't you?
I haven't watched it.
I actually do want to watch Berserk, and there's a Berserk game that's coming out that looks very fascinating.
Okay, Tim, I would highly suggest you don't watch Berserk and you just read the manga. Because they're... The adaptation...
That is the nerdy... Of all the nerdy things you and I have said tonight, that is the nerdiest thing that's ever been said on this fucking podcast.
Dude,
I highly recommend you don't watch the anime and just read the manga.
Actually,
it's just it's one of those ones because there's a couple different Berserk animes, and one of them's like really bad and one of them's only like okay. If you really want to like get into Berserk and like that world and everything, you need to read the manga. Which is part of the reason why I haven't gotten that into it yet, because I've never sat down and read the manga. So I'm a bigger Manhwa fan because I like colors.
I just want
manga is all black and white. So generally, sometimes the first like page or so is colorized, but anyways, yeah. Oh,
thank you.
No. I actually do remember the last anime that I suggested to you, and it came out like last summer.
No.
Yeah, Hell's Paradise. It was the one that I made the clip of with the dude like tearing out that other dude's fucking heart in the ocean. Like I made a whole clip to like try and draw you into this to see if you'd watch it, and you just completely ignored it. Completely ignored it, and it was
not work.
No, it didn't at all.
Right now, nope.
I was like, this is right up Tim's alley, and he'll love this. And he was like, it's a cartoon. I don't care if it's not already something in a medium that I like. I'm not fucking watching it because it's what's really funny
Not
about that.
entirely accurate, but it's mostly accurate.
Yeah, it's what's funny is I still haven't watched the Cyberpunk anime. I still haven't
It's
watched it.
fucking amazing.
Right.
That one is just, that's not even, okay, I'm not even going to sit here and say that's a great anime. I'm just going to tell you that's a great show. Edge
Okay.
Runners is just a great show. Like, it doesn't matter what medium you're looking at. It is a great piece of media, regardless of format. It's really
it's like
good.
Arcane.
Well written, well paced. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
like
Arcane.
Edge Runners is just really fucking good, and I can't recommend that one highly enough to anyone.
Yeah,
Like, that was
They're
amazing.
gonna do a sequel to Cyberpunk.
they're doing a sequel
Yeah.
to Arcane too.
No,
I
he
meant
means
the game.
He's the game.
Oh.
Yeah. Project.
a
I
sequel?
forget what they're calling it. Project Orion is what I think they're calling it right now.
Oh,
Can't
That's like its code name shit. I watch a lot of stupid videos where people speculate on leaks and all this shit. I'm pretty sure it's called Project Orion, which I
Yeah,
thought
I
was
was glad to
interesting
see
because
that.
Orion's the hunter.
We're gonna be hunting.
So, especially
Maybe.
given that Edge Runners was partially about bounty hunting. Yeah, I could play a Cyberpunk bounty hunter game.
Cyberpunk
does the
1313.
does the cyber? Oh, there you go. There's a fucking
Hell yeah,
throwback right
brother.
there. Does Cyberpunk does that universe or whatever, does that go off Earth? Like, is there like space and shit that they go into, or
Oh,
is it all
The moon.
Earth-based?
You
Okay.
didn't finish the game.
No, I did not.
Finish the game. That'll answer your question.
I that 50-hour save from 3 years ago, probably not. I did try to pick it.
My
I
earbud died.
to be fair, I did try and pick it up recently and like try to get back into it, and I just couldn't. Like, it's not that it's bad, right? It's just like thinking of going through all the stuff that I already did, kind of thing. I was just like, I just don't feel like doing that.
hard to
Yeah.
backtrack.
Yeah, a little bit.
I've played it to see what the gameplay changes were recently, and that was pretty much it. Like I started a couple new saves, and I didn't get super duper far.
My friend
Yeah.
gifted me the DLC, but I haven't tried it yet.
That I do really want to play. I do really want to play Phantom Liberty.
Have you played any more Pal World? Speaking of gifts.
No, I have not.
Okay. Not saying you need to. I was just curious if you played any on your
Not
own.
yet.
He's not saying it.
Tim has been super into Pal World, dude.
Dude,
Super into
I was just
Pal
talking to TJ about that.
Bro. Oh, speaking of,
I think I've caught 100 of them now. Like,
Yeah,
and I don't mean
you got over
100
90.
pals. I mean 100 types of pals.
Your Pokédex is filling up.
It's pretty close.
by the way, Tim, you're a fibber.
Huh?
So when we talked last week before we played Pal World, you're like, you've played 40 hours. I was like, I didn't realize I'd played 40 hours. You're a
That was
fibber.
what Steam was telling me.
Well, Steam's a fibber because then I actually looked, and after we got done playing last week and the next time I jumped on, I only had like 30 hours in the game. I now have 42.
Oh,
I now have 42. So I don't know what Steam told you, but I was like,
how many
I
hours
swear,
does Tim have?
probably more than that.
I'm guessing 80.
Yeah, that's kind of the ballpark I was going to shoot
I
for too.
could look. Do you want me to look?
I mean, I
Yes.
could.
Let's look.
Yeah, but I'm curious.
I have 51.9.
Okay.
Damn. Okay. Oh, speaking
Logan's
of,
been playing the
weird-
shit out of it too.
something weird with my personal save for Pal World.
Hmm.
I have not been rated
Like at all?
like at all. I thought I accidentally turned off a setting
Hmm.
kind of thing, but I didn't build in like the normal starting area, like that first island. I purposely respawned as soon as I spawned into the game. It went up north and spawned up there and like made a
Oh.
base up there. I have not been attacked once.
Interesting.
So random
Maybe
thing.
that's just something about that biome.
Honestly, it's not even really a different biome. I can see the actual like winter biome from where my base is
Mhm.
right now. But yeah, it's not. I don't know. But also a good reason you haven't been playing Justin because they had their capture rate thing was all jacked up.
Yeah, that's
they
right.
they just fixed that like today. So
Yeah,
if you
was
have
it
the
the,
effigies, the effigies, if you'd been collecting them and using them on the Statue of Power, you were actually lowering your catch rate not raising
That's
it.
such a funny bug.
Yeah, dude. And so it was getting kind of out of control. And then
Was
they
that
fixed it
affecting
today.
everyone?
Yes, it was a major problem with the game.
That's funny.
Oh, that
Yeah.
explains a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I was sitting there, I was like trying to catch things that are around my level, and I go, shit, they scale this really hard. Like, this is kind of
Yeah.
crazy. Like, I'm throwing hyperspheres at shit,
Yeah.
and like, it's giving me with all of my lift muck effigies and shit, it's telling me I have a 20% chance to catch a thing that's my level. I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
insane.
It's telling you to get fucked is basically what it's saying.
I wasted so many balls trying to catch some of those things. That's okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Made for
yeah.
a more intense experience.
Well, here's the cool thing, Tim. If you like that experience, it is actually a slider in the world creation that you can make it harder to catch things. If you
Yeah,
want.
there's so many options.
There is. It's one of the things I really like about the game, honestly.
Here's my question that I don't have an answer to that I kind of want. I haven't built a second base yet. I only have the one.
Yes, you can build 20 more pals at the second base.
Okay. Well, I have the default of 15 because
Right,
I
hold
didn't know
on.
if it just capped you to 15 period or what.
Yeah, well, I upped mine to 20. I actually had the same question. I was watching Asmongold play, and he's got like a couple maxed out bases kind of thing. So that's the only reason why I know.
Tim,
But
we
I'm-
lost your video here.
Yeah, your video is gone, bud.
I
you-
turned it off momentarily.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
This
Just making
time
sure.
it's a feature, not a bug.
Okay.
That's cool. Anyways, boys, obviously, Tim and I have been playing Pal World. Justin, what have you been playing lately?
Oh, I've been playing some League of Legends and some
Okay.
Pokemon Unite. I've been doing the MOBA thing, putting my MOBA time in.
Ooh, sorry, continue. I'm not trying to cut you
Sure.
off, but I just thought of a question.
They just added Magikarp and Gyarados into Pokemon Unite.
Oh,
So
did they?
it's been fun flopping around like a moron for the first 6 levels of Pokemon Unite and then turning into a fucking dragon and whooping everyone's ass.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Oh,
Gyarados
that's
is
funny.
pretty beefy.
That's super funny. I love it.
Yep.
Um,
And then, League of Legends. I've been playing that with Andrea. We were just playing earlier, doing ARAM, which is like instead of the normal objectives, it's just 2 teams going at it. All your characters are randomized, so it's a good way to
Ooh.
try out new champions that you haven't played.
right.
So that was fun, trying some new characters out. I like this one guy. He's the goblins of that universe.
Of course.
They're called Yordles, but he flies around in this like biplane. He's basically the Red Baron. So I'm just like zooming around, like dropping
Yeah.
Snoopy.
napalm and like shooting rockets.
Snoopy.
Yeah, very much that.
That's funny.
That was fun.
That's funny. I love that. You know, I feel like you did tell me about that because I was like, if it's a goblin, Justin's there.
Yeah,
Like he's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
he's like, I want to play as that little fuck.
It's one of the Steam Next Fest demos I grabbed, but I haven't played yet. It's you play as 3 goblins in a trench coat, masquerading as a human,
What?
and it's like a physics game. Yeah,
Is it Quap?
There's-
Quap with
No,
goblins?
it's got a funny name.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Well, have you ever played Quap? I'm sure it does have a funny name, but he's saying that sounds like Quap with goblins. Quap was
Yeah,
that like you
yeah.
had to run using QWOP.
I don't think it's quite on that level, but yeah, like you can fall and like knock shit over.
That
Oh,
is
the
funny.
reason that I turned my camera off is because I had to run around looking for a different set of headphones because my earbuds were dying. I don't know where the case is to charge them either, so they're just sitting here.
Yeah,
just slowly
3 goblin
dying.
wobbling is the name
not-
of that one.
Three goblin wobbling.
3
Love
goblin
it.
wobbling.
There's
Fucking love
there's a management game that I downloaded and I immediately went, oh, Justin would probably love this shit.
Hmm.
What the hell is it called? Oh, I have to. Does it not show me on here?
Fight Crab 2? Is that what you're trying to find?
Oh,
Career mode?
it's about orcs.
Orcs.
Like,
Orcs.
where the fuck is it?
Orc
It
manager.
I can't see it in my Steam
Orc
library.
massage? Is that what you're talking about?
What the hell did you just call my mom?
You say orc massage?
That's
just a
exactly what he
porn
said.
game.
You wanna know what's funny? Is I think Markiplier actually played that game.
Yeah,
He
he
played
was
it.
on like the featured for a while.
Yeah,
I wonder if he's ever played Sperma.
I don't know. He also played.
That was that one I made the video about, Justin.
Oh yes, that's
yeah.
right.
It's about exactly what you think it is.
Orc War Chief, is that what you're talking about, Tim?
Maybe. I'm remoting into my other computer now to like look at it. I think that is what it's called though.
Strategy City Builder.
Yeah, Orc War Chief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raise your war banner and gather the horde.
Yep.
I should look
Yeah.
up that game. You said City
Yeah.
Builder? I'm there.
Yeah.
Generally.
Dude, yeah.
I'm big.
Yeah, I
big
don't know
into
what it is
City
about
Builder.
city builders. They're like very just satisfying games to play.
You want to know what it is?
Correct.
Part of it is that we're old as fuck now. And it's nice and slow and chill, and you
I do like a nice
you-
slow game.
yeah, like you get a little bit stressed out, but at the end of the day, are the stakes really that high? No, it's not
Yes.
like running around playing a shooter and all of a sudden you're getting the whole spawn die meme. You know what I mean? Like just fucking
Oh,
raging.
man.
So
Isn't the next fest still going? I don't see any of the
Oh
demos.
yeah. I've got
oh yeah,
tons of the demos, dude.
it's all week, ain't it?
It's the banners
I thought
right
it's
there.
through the 12th.
Through the 12th.
I see a banner for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel 2nd anniversary.
Oh yeah, that's what I saw.
You'd
earlier.
have to scroll, I think. Oh no, it's not even like on on their store page anymore. What the
Wait,
heck?
No,
it's
it's
not on
not.
the store page anymore, and I don't see any of the demos that I downloaded.
I have all my
Well,
demos.
they don't take them out of your library. You gotta.
That's why I'm super confused. Is my
Tim,
Oh.
what's happened?
is my external drive just disconnected? Like I don't understand.
I don't
Uh-oh.
know.
Drive
I'm-
problems.
I'm gonna tell you what. I just made a mistake.
hmm
I just happened to see Helldivers 2.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Uh,
today.
Getting
and I was
getting
kinda-
interested.
Interested. It's only $40.
Yeah.
For some reason,
It's not
since
bad.
it's a PlayStation game, well, I mean, it's basically a PlayStation exclusive.
Dude, can we talk
just
about this
assumed it'd be
simultaneous PC PlayStation launch?
Yeah, this is the first
Hey!
one. This is the first one they've done.
No, they did it with the first Helldivers.
Was the
That was
first
on PC as
Helldivers?
well? I thought it was console only.
No. Cody and I played it on PC together.
I think I want
Oh.
to say Helldivers 1 was the first game I ever streamed.
Oh wow.
Probably.
Yeah, I want.
Yeah,
I
because
wanna
that was around the time that I was making all your channel art and shit too.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were like, you should stream, and I was like, buddy, like I don't know how to do any of this. You're like, here's a logo, here's a banner, have
Go,
fun.
go,
like,
go.
yeah. He was like, please stream, and I was like, all right, bud. Yeah.
I think I just used like I edited the shit out of a bunch of like what did I do for your thing? Was it 2 Skyrim axes and I like edited
Yeah,
the fuck
something
out
like
of the
that.
image and
Yeah, it was something like that. It was like 2 Skyrimaxes or something.
yeah.
So
Nice.
yeah, it's good
Did you guys
stuff.
play any good demos from Next Fest?
No.
I haven't. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't played. As you can see, I'm still sorting Pokemon cards as we're talking.
It's ironic as fuck that Yu-Gi-Oh was on the front page of Steam because the only thing I've been playing the last couple of days really is is Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, but
Yeah,
here
I
it
actually thought about you when I saw that it was
Nice.
like 2-year anniversary thing. I was like, oh, it's good for Tim. Probably good
Nah.
downloads in there.
I don't play the new Yu-Gi-Oh games. I literally, if I want to play Yu-Gi-Oh, I play Eternal Duelist Soul or Dark Duel Stories. So I'm either playing a Game Boy Color or a Game Boy Advance game.
set in your ways, Tim. You know the games you like.
Nostalgia.
hmm
Nostalgia.
Well, there are a lot of good demos out there, so definitely find some and try them before the
I
thing's
had-
over.
I have
I
been
wanted
watching.
to try the one that you said was awful, so that sucks.
Which one was that? I can't remember.
The
Oh, the Dark and Darker ripoff.
yeah, I wanted to try that one because it looked cool. Oh, and I
You
did,
might
I
like
did,
it if you didn't play Dark and Darker.
I did try Caesar's Revenge.
Oh yeah,
That was okay. It's
Doom.
another Doom
Caesar
like
Doom.
the best Doom
Funny
like
theme.
the best retro shooter, like boomer shooter Doom like that I've played in the last couple of years is still the Space
Bolt
Marines
Gun?
spinoff. Yeah, it's still Bolt Gun.
Oh yeah, dude.
I fucking love
So
Bolt
good.
Gun.
Bolt Gun.
It's so
good.
satisfying.
I haven't played
Um,
it. It's one of those games I'm excited to get.
I'm
one day.
definitely not playing Yu-Gi-Oh now.
I definitely think you guys should try Pacific Drive.
Isn't that the car apocalyptic one? That you got to like repair your car and shit as you're driving around or
Yes.
whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
I've seen
that is
videos of
it.
that over the last couple of years, so I'm familiar.
So it's Mad Max without shotguns.
It's a
no, it's
driving
more
simulator with crafting, and it's a roguelike.
and it's horror, right? Though. Like,
Yeah, it's spooky. There's some
horror.
spooky shit going on.
Yeah.
I think my favorite thing that happened was I was still like figuring out how everything worked, and like when you're in the car, it's not like there aren't just keys for everything. You have to like look down at the key and like use it to turn the car off. You have to like put it into brake or put it into park or whatever. And I came up to this objective and I like got out of the car to do the thing.
Mhm.
And then I turned back and I saw my car just rolling backwards down the hill. And I was like, fuck, I didn't put the fucking parking brake on. And I'd run back in, jump in the car and like put the brake on. I was just like, okay, it's going to be that kind of game. Cool.
Have you ever
Dude.
done that in real life?
No.
God, no.
No.
Yeah, me neither.
you?
Totally,
Yeah,
totally not.
obviously.
I've never done that.
Oh my
It sounds
god.
scary, dude.
Oh my
But
god.
yeah,
That would be
it's
awful.
fun. Definitely check it out.
Awful. Yeah, no, it does seem like one of those ones that I would be interested in. You know what I've noticed? There's also a lot of big like open world survival games that are on there too.
Yeah, there's a
I don't-
lot.
I don't know if
And
this
they're
one
like
is
almost all medieval themed, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
really bad time to come out right after Enshrouded. Really bad time.
Did you guys pick up Enshrouded or no?
Not yet. Friday's payday.
Yeah, I did buy it just to get I mean, it's only 10% off, but I'll take advantage of the 10% off. Because I was like, I'll play this eventually. Like, the only thing I don't like about Enshrouded at this point is that the base building system seems to be kind of limited to certain areas. It's not, you can't just kind of build like wherever you want, like you can in Pal World, basically.
Oh,
It has something to do with one of their systems in the game, kind of thing, from what I understand.
Okay.
So
So
the fog thing?
no, the flame. Well, kind of fog related. You have like these flame. I'm just gonna call it a fireplace. That's not what it is, but it's basically this fireplace thing that you have to put in the middle of your base, and then you have a radius, but they can only go in certain spots, kind of thing. So,
mhm.
so yeah, a
We
little
don't like
disappointed in
limits
that.
in our survival crafting games.
Not really, no. But you know what? I did see somebody in Pal World. They fought one of the bosses by building a second base right outside the boss zone. They built their little computer thing, and then they spawned some pals, like some of their pals in the base, and then just let like them all fight it at the same time.
Oh,
Wait, what?
Are you
what
normally
boss?
limited?
Like not one of the tower bosses.
No. One of the open world bosses.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, not the tower boss. Yeah, because the tower boss is instance.
That's why I was like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, I didn't.
Yeah. Just one of the ones that are in the overworld kind of thing. So, but yeah, I don't know. There's once again, this year is looking to be stacked potentially. I don't know how stacked.
A lot
but-
going on. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, I'm doing my best to not buy a lot of games. And the way I was telling myself not to buy Helldivers was like, oh, it's gonna be a $70 game, blah 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 blah. Like that's what I was saying in my head, and it's $40.
Nope.
Dude.
Although alternatively, we could just buy the thing that's basically the same thing, but it's instead of being looking like it's parody or trying to loosely base itself on Starship Troopers, we could just buy the Starship Troopers one. I mean, we could just do that.
That's
That's
true.
cheaper.
Yeah, isn't that thing only like
True.
$25, $30?
I want to play the shit out of that. That looks like so much fun.
I got a buddy of mine that I
Does
used to
look fun.
game with, who hit me up when that first came out. He was asking me if I was gonna get it, and I was like, no, I'm gonna wait, because I wasn't sure. You know what I mean? If they were just like using the license for the IP to like try and sell some
No.
things. But it
Both of
turns
the
out to be
Starship
really
Troopers, yeah, both of the Starship Troopers games that came out last year were just absolute fucking bangers.
Yeah.
Terran
Yeah.
Command is one that like is. I can. It's a good RTS, but I don't. It's not. It doesn't have like a skirmish. It's just a campaign, and the campaign is good, but like, what the hell happened to RTSs? Like, I miss base building RTSs where you had skirmish modes. I miss Dawn of War. I miss like Age of Empires still exists, but like, what the
Did you
hell?
play the Stormgate test?
Not yet, but I'm going
No.
to because I know that that's StarCraft devs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was.
What do they call their new studio? Ice Giant? Is that right?
Something like that. I
Frost
think
Giant?
that-
Something like
it's-
that.
It's something like that. I
Yeah.
will say I also do miss the days when I would load up in a land game with my cousins and we would comp stomp against the hardest difficulty in Dawn of War, and you would just
Yeah.
see bodies just fucking everywhere because you'd get in these
You just ball of
gigantic.
death it.
Yeah, well, it would just be like these gigantic stalemates. Like the CPU is just throwing bodies, and you're just throwing bodies, and they're just meeting at these choke points that are in the map, kind of thing.
Mhm.
And you're just like, "How are we ever gonna break through?" It was so much fun. It was so much
Hell
fun.
yeah.
The
And then
good
you
days.
just use some scouts to get some goddamn Terminators behind their lines, and
Or you just call in an orbital bombardment and say, "Fuck it," like just get
Shatter
tired.
their skies.
Yeah, dude.
that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Yeah. Good times. I can't wait for.
Do
Henry
you hear the
Cavill's-
voices too?
Dude,
Tim's
brings
sick
you
and
right
he's still out
back.
here doing. Tim's sick
Oh.
and he's out here making
Oh.
these voices. Oh,
When are we
my
going to boot
God.
up Dawn of War?
I'm gonna be honest. If we're gonna do that, there's a mod we need to download for it that
No, we
Dude, it
don't
gets-
need
it
it. You
gets-
don't.
it gets rid of the unit caps and it gets fucking insane. It's so fun.
It
It's
gets so
fun.
insane as it is, though.
Like I'm telling you, dude. Like they've modded the fuck out of it and it's really good.
Yeah,
not
did I
not
tell
to
you
say
guys
the
there's a-
base game isn't good.
There's only one game that I've ever refunded,
Really?
and it was
Dawn of War 3?
It was Dawn of War 3.
Yeah, that's
And
sad.
then I got it through a
Mhm.
humble bundle. I got it back.
Can't get away, Tim.
I
Can't
didn't
get
want
away.
it, but it was humble monthly, and it was like, "Here's Dawn of War 3," and I was like, "Well,
Yeah, that was
I
very
guess.
disappointing.
Oh man. All right, boys. I feel like we're kind of putting off the. Putting off
You
the
ready to get
inevitable
into
here.
the meat here?
So all right, so me and Tim have already kind of talked about this because it's such big news, right? And we're both on different sides of this. So, but I would like to hear your point of view on this, Justin, because so basically what's come out, and this none of this is fully confirmed, but from the sounds of it is that all of basically Xbox is trending towards being more of a third-party publisher. They'll still have consoles, but they're talking about putting all their basically all their flagship titles on PlayStation and Switch. This includes Halo. It includes Gears of War. At first, when the rumors started coming out, they were like, "Oh, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves," but then like the higher profile titles started coming out, and they're like, "Oh, well, they're looking at potentially putting these on the other things too." So just kind of, what are your initial thoughts on that? Like good, bad, ugly, in the middle? Like kind of how do you feel about it?
I think it's great that we're gonna have more of a push towards making games multi-platform, because I don't want to buy a PlayStation 5. I absolutely don't, but I'm going to because I want to play the new Final Fantasy game.
I mean, yeah. Didn't you say that just the other day? You were like,
Yeah.
I'm buying,
He did, yeah.
I'm buying it.
I'm gonna
Did you-
do it.
Did you buy the PlayStation already or no?
No, not yet. But I'm going to.
Yeah.
to. It's a
Is it-
foregone conclusion at this point.
You want to play the piano mini game that badly?
Dude, the first one was so good. This one
Yeah,
looks
it
like
was.
everything but more. I
Yeah.
can't wait.
Yeah, I know a lot of people liked it. I played a little bit. I streamed a little bit of it with you, Justin, for the remake kind of thing, and I
Mhm.
liked it. Did you have any other thoughts on it outside of you like the expansion of that?
On Final Fantasy?
No, just the Xbox piece and like.
Oh, sure. I think that it's maybe, I mean, they're still going to make consoles, so I get the sense that Xbox fans are upset about this, but I don't really understand why, I guess.
They are of the belief that it devalues the brand. So if you bought an Xbox, you should be mad that now Halo is going to be on PlayStation. And I think it's console war shit. I think it's stupid. I understand that people who spent money are like, well, then I should have just bought a PlayStation. Well, if you really wanted to buy a PlayStation, then okay, cool. But like, my whole thing is walled gardens suck. Locked in ecosystems and exclusives suck. Console wars suck. And Xbox lost the console wars 11 years ago, by the way, when not Phil Spencer, but the other Phil, who almost killed Xbox, went on stage and said, oh, if you want to play games offline, there's another Xbox for that. It's called the Xbox 360. Like, that's when they lost the fucking console wars. Not now. It's not because they're putting games on PlayStation. They already lost. So this is them finally conceding that. And if Phil Spencer is to be believed, and they want to put their games on more screens anywhere, they want to get more people on Game Pass anywhere, well, then it makes perfect goddamn sense to go to the other consoles because they outsell the Xbox. PlayStation has outsold Xbox 2-1. I looked it up. There are 50 million PlayStations out there. There's 33 million Xbox Game Pass subscribers. And if it's 2-1, there are 25 million Xbox Series X's and or S's in the wild, right? So, like, yeah, you want to put it on more screens, then you put Game Pass on PlayStation, and your revenue goes from $1 billion per quarter to, I think the estimation I gave Cody earlier was, let's say only 20% of people with a PS5 sign up for Game Pass, and they don't already have it. 20%. Not an ambitious number. 10 million. There's another $1 billion a year in revenue for Xbox. Like,
it's big numbers.
It's big numbers. So, like, it makes perfect sense from that aspect in my brain. And I think people are upset because, oh, it devalues Xbox. Xbox is already in third place out of the big three. If somebody was going to put their games elsewhere, it wasn't going to be Nintendo and it wasn't going to be Sony at this point. So, yeah, it makes sense. As I say, as I got my Xbox 20th anniversary edition headset on my head.
Yeah, you know, you're adapting.
He's been adapting. So, and I'm the only one who is like, this shit sucks. And the big reason I'm like, this shit sucks is because this is bad for the console market. PlayStation will now have literally zero competition in the console market because they do not compete with Nintendo. So that whole console market is going to stagnate. And you're not going to see any kind of real innovation there because they won't need to. And they're already trending this way, but it basically guarantees that they're going to start hiking up the game prices even higher than what they are because it's going to be either pay our base price or go get Game Pass. And that's really what it's going to be. And then the other piece of this is, like, I now have basically a $500 paperweight. You know what I mean? Like, if you've done if you invested in Xbox at all over this generation, then, I mean, it's basically a slap in the face to anybody who's bought an Xbox for this generation.
What do you mean it's a slap?
It's not a slap in the face.
They're still,
but it is.
You can still play on your Xbox.
But why? What incentive do I have to play on my Xbox?
Okay, Mr.
Hold on.
Hey,
you have both of the consoles.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I do have both of the consoles.
There's no real point.
But also, you and I, like we were talking about earlier, we are the minority. I have fucking way too many devices. I have a Switch. There's 2 Nintendo Switches in my house. There's a PS5, a PS3, a PS2. Nope, don't got a PS4 or a PS1. But I have every generation of Xbox.
Right.
We are not the people
but I didn't buy my Xbox to not want to play it. I bought my Xbox because I thought that in this generation, I believed the things that they were saying and that they were going to come out with things that would make me want to play the Xbox. And they have yet to do that. And now what they've done is they've basically just kicked it all to the side of the road. There's no reason to invest into the console side of Xbox at this point.
Unless you like the hardware.
What is there to like about it?
What do you mean?
The whole point
it's the same, right? Like,
there's
there's
no
not a huge difference between PS5 and Xbox,
Right.
right?
As far as the hardware, you're not wrong, but also like again, most people don't buy both. They buy one, and
so
most
the people
of those
who
people
only bought one, the 25 million people that bought an Xbox that don't also have a PlayStation,
you can still play Xbox.
you can still play it, but why you have now locked yourself? You could have been in the PlayStation ecosystem playing all of those PlayStation games, playing Spider-Man, playing Ghost of Tsushima, playing all those games, but you believed what Xbox was selling, and now they have basically told you to get fucked, go buy a PlayStation and play our games there. Like there's no way around that. Like,
right, but the vast majority of people who bought a PlayStation or an Xbox didn't buy it to play those games specifically. And if you bought an Xbox, you didn't buy
you're
it
telling me
specifically
people didn't buy PlayStation to play those
No. The majority of console gamers bought it to play COD, FIFA, and Madden. This is the sales bear this out. Like the vast majority.
But you're telling me
you're
telling me that exclusives have no bearing on that.
I didn't say no bearing. They have some bearing, but the vast majority of people who bought that, the vast majority of people who are our age, who are dads, who what they do is play games with their friends, and they're not like playing the single player epic campaigns. That's over 2/3 of the console market, by the way.
I understand that. But if you're making a decision, you're like, I can play Madden on Xbox or PlayStation, right? But then you're like, oh, but I can also play Spider-Man on PlayStation.
You could.
For when I'm not playing with my friends. And you chose to go that route. You're like, oh, I'll miss out on Halo and that kind of thing. Whatever. But then you have the other person who was like, I would rather play Halo than I'd rather play Spider-Man, is now going, oh, I could have just bought the PlayStation to begin with, been playing Spider-Man, and got Halo anyways. I
understand that sense of remorse.
Right, like
that point
I
of view,
do.
yeah.
I don't think that's the majority of people that like.
I don't understand how you don't think that would be.
Are you saying
irritating
you
for
don't think
people?
That's who's upset?
No, that is who's upset. But
You think it's
that is who people want to be upset. The majority of people that are upset are the big names on Twitter and YouTube right now. But if you look at the comment section, there are people that are mad. Yeah, like there's the one guy who told Destin to basically die.
Yeah, that's like ridiculous.
Like, what?
That's ridiculous.
It's like, I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing that if you are playing right now Halo or Gears of War or Starfield Starfield's a bad example because it's not multiplayer. But it's not multiplayer. If you're playing an Xbox exclusive right now, I don't think it's a bad thing that your buddy on a PS5 could now play Gears 5 with you.
I'm not saying that's the bad thing. I'm saying
I get it.
Why couldn't I have been playing with my buddy on PlayStation this entire time? If I was going to get the Xbox games eventually anyways, why didn't I just, like, if this was the eventuality, hindsight being 2020, why wouldn't I have just put the same amount of money I put on the Xbox and just bought a PlayStation? Because then I'm getting more bang for my buck. Now, if I want to do those other things like play Spider-Man and Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us and God of War and all those other games that make people want to buy a PlayStation, I now have to go spend another $500 to get that and all the Xbox games that I've been playing. Like, so, you could have saved $500.
Yeah.
In a time when consumers don't have a lot of money to spend. Like, I don't understand how that isn't clicking for you.
Do you remember 2 years ago when it was rumored that Xbox was trying to bring Nintendo exclusives to Xbox, like Mario and stuff? Like, they were trying to talk to Nintendo to get.
Well, they also tried to buy Nintendo back in the day.
Right.
Like,
well, that was forever ago. That was pre.
I'm just saying, like, it's not like there's never been a connection there.
But what I'm saying right now is, so would it surprise you if they tried to do the same thing with PlayStation? If they're like, hey, we're selling our games on your on your they're extending the olive branch now. They're going to say, okay,
Right.
we want to bring Game Pass over here. We want to sell our games on your marketplace.
Yes.
Jim Ryan, I do think it's fascinating. He leaves, and all of a sudden, Xbox is like, "Yeah, we want to bring things over." Like, I don't know what that relationship between
It probably
Jim
wasn't a
and
good
Xbox
one.
was. Probably not, from
No.
everything it seems like. So I'm really curious. Like, at what point does that conversation potentially come up? Because it seems like it will, and I don't think from Sony's perspective it's a fuck no. I think from Sony's perspective, it's a, well, how much do you want to pay us to put it on your console? Because Microsoft money versus Sony money is stupid money. Like,
No, you're not wrong. I mean,
I don't
Microsoft's a $3 trillion company, and
right.
Sony's
I don't
not
mean
even a trillion.
Xbox can afford it. Xbox can't afford it, but Xbox is the third most profitable branch
Right.
of
Right.
Microsoft.
Right.
So
So
what
your
kind of check
argument
does
is
Satya-
when does it come back the other way?
when does the walled
It
ecosystem? Because
won't.
I
That's
think
the thing.
this is,
It won't, because
I don't know.
Xbox doesn't care. Like they will have consoles, but like
Yeah.
right now, I don't. Have you been to a Best Buy recently?
Yes, they're awful.
Okay. Have you noticed that all the Xbox physical media is basically gone?
Xbox shut down the physical games division. They're all digital
Right.
moving forward.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So
That was their layoffs that happened. Was the
Yeah.
majority of it was
Their
people not working on the games. It was the people who worked on
the physical media.
Yeah, the securing of the discs and cases and prints and all that shit.
So what do you think is the next step? It's the
What do you
fucking
mean?
console. They are eventually at, if they decide to go this route, depending on how this goes, because like we've talked about, and you pointed out to me when I first reacted to this news, because I reacted wrongly, and you checked me, and that was the right thing to do. But they don't make money on the console, so they're going to eventually just cut the console out and just sell the games, and then they're a third-party publisher. This won't come back the other way.
I think they'll still make the box. Here's my argument.
They do have one box in development that we know about from those leaks, but it's going to be the equivalent of the Series X, but it's going to be fully digital. It will not have a disk drive.
Well, they also have a next gen console in development that's confirmed via FTC. Shit.
But honestly, are we really convinced that it's going to be any more than a fucking Fire Stick?
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not.
They're all, so the difference between a PS5
yeah.
and a Series X isn't internals. Like, it is a little bit. It's the
Right.
cooling is
the
different.
gigaflops and all that nonsense.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you really break down each of those APUs, the actual processors, the CPU GPU combination that powers both boxes,
Right.
they're both RDNA 2.
Yeah.
They're both Ryzen.
Right.
They're both just custom PCs.
Yeah.
So I think Xbox is looking at this going, Mike, let me rephrase that, because I think if Phil had his way,
Yeah.
it might be a little different. But Microsoft is looking at this going, it really doesn't matter where you're playing our games. If you are paying us, and averaged out, right? We did the math earlier. Let's forget that Core exists, because I don't think Core is factored into the Game Pass subscription numbers yet.
I don't know.
Let's
I think it's
forget that
dumb
Ultimate.
anyways.
Yeah, but let's forget Core exists. Let's forget Ultimate exists. Let's say all 33.5 million current subscribers to Xbox Game Pass are on the $10 tier.
Yeah.
That's $1 billion per quarter. How do we grow that number? Because we lose money on the physical console. They're still going to sell you the box. They lose money on the Microsoft Surface. They still sell it. It's the least popular line of laptops. Period.
Right, but the difference there is there isn't a at least as far as I know. I could be wrong about this, but just comparing it to the Xbox market is you can't cut out the console, like cut out the tablet and still make money. You can cut out the console, you can cut out the console and then still sell the video games and make all the money.
Oh no, they're so I have a Microsoft representative. He was my Xbox representative when I was at GameStop, and he still is my Microsoft guy.
That's funny.
Their strategy, per my conversations with him, he doesn't actually work for Microsoft. He works for one of their marketing firms, but he works around this stuff every day.
Right.
They are moving away from one-time Office purchases. You can't
to a
buy
subscription.
off. Correct.
Right.
So they absolutely can and are making money regardless of the surface because Office 365 and Office annual auto renewals.
Right,
So
but you still have
their Game
you
Pass
still have
analog.
you still have a PC though. That's the thing.
You
like,
still have a console. It just they don't care.
But the console is a different company. Like
Yeah,
that's the
so
problem.
Oh god,
Oh, here he
picked it
goes. Here he goes.
Big mistake. I think
um
with Tim.
sorry, I picked up my laptop because I was going to show my laptop on camera. So is my Asus laptop. So
I understand that, but
it's analog, and also they do the same with Office on Mac. It's literally they're taking the same strategy as they do with Microsoft Office. It's one for one. If you look at what they're doing, it's completely analog. They have the hardware that they manufacture that they don't make any money on, and they sell the least of. Like compared to every other model, every other company that is making computers.
Right.
Microsoft Surface tablets and laptops sell the absolute lowest in the company I worked for, which is one of the biggest PC sellers
I understand
on the planet.
But once again, the difference is the OS is not the same as Game Pass because if you just go to Game Pass, yes, that's good for Microsoft and stuff like that. But going to just the Microsoft OS isn't stagnating the computer market.
I'm not.
It's going to getting rid of the console and just going straight to Game Pass and not having any competition with Sony. That is going to stagnate that market 100%. There's no way around it. They show it all the time, and basically any market ever. If there's no competition, then shit goes downhill. This is how it works. Like, so this is not good. This is not good overall for gamers in that sense of if you're still, let's say, your parents aren't computer savvy and they can't build computers and stuff like that. You're getting a console. You will buy $100 video game is probably the future we're looking at. Grand Theft Auto 6, we already know that fucking game is going to be $100. It's going to be the base game. Like, we already know that's just going to be $100 because they're already talking about it. And that game I don't think comes out until fucking next year. So what's going to happen when there's not another option? You're going to buy the PlayStation and there's no other option unless you want to get the subscription to Game Pass. Like, I don't see how that's a good thing.
It's territory that we haven't been in before. There have always been these pillars in the console market to try to balance each other out. And if Xbox is going to kind of recede from that, PlayStation can just kind of theoretically do whatever they want.
Theoretically.
Right. Well, it's not theoretically. They're going to.
We don't know yet. But like, so
if Xbox is doing what we think they're going to do, anyways.
Oh yeah, I don't think Xbox is going to ever completely pull out of the console market. I do think that their sales for consoles will suffer. But also, if anybody knows the popularity of gaming PCs, Microsoft does.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
I think gaming PCs are your alternative at that point. And most gaming PCs, by the way, Microsoft still gets you on that. Because every OEM copy of Windows, Asus pays for, right? Dell pays for. If you're building one, you pay. Microsoft doesn't care how they get your money. They're getting your money because they're going to get you on a Game Pass subscription. And I think their play is, right now, they're getting it in mobile. They're getting it on computer. They're getting it on Xbox. They're looking at it going, how do we get more Game Pass subscriptions in the wild? Just like in my work world, they're looking at how do we get more people hooked on paying an annual subscription to Office? How do we get more of that? How do we grow that? How do we sell it to people who are only doing business on their phone? Well, they're doing that. They're literally selling Office on the phone now. How do we do it so they're taking that same approach with Game Pass, looking at it going, we need the hardware at some level because we want to offer something for people, right? But the bigger thing is, how do we get more of our stuff everywhere and get more our hooks into everyone's wallet? So, no, it's not good for the potential of Sony being stagnant, but also Sony has never been stagnant. Sony has always been innovative in every space that they compete. Doesn't matter if it's TVs, doesn't matter if it's sound bars, it doesn't matter if it's the PlayStation. Like, I joke about how Sony wants to make PlayStation the premium brand and Xbox is the discount version to it, right?
I mean, that's still true. I mean,
that is, but realistically, that's what they do. They did it with phones when they made phones. They did it with laptops when they made laptops. They do it with soundbars, TVs. They always are trying to position themselves. Headphones, cameras. They're always the premium. They're never
Right.
the discount. So, while yes, you could see stagnation, I don't think you're going to see a bad product come out of a console on the next generation just because Xbox is the brand is weakened because it's Sony.
I think it's more than the brand is weakened, because I know you don't agree with me with people being upset and stuff like that. But honestly, like,
I'm not saying people aren't upset. I'm saying Microsoft
right,
doesn't
but
care if they're upset.
but you kept minimizing it because you're saying it's not a very large subset of the amount of people who bought an Xbox, right?
It's a loud market, but I don't think it's a big market.
I have a dog.
I have a
lay down,
child.
buddy. I know. Well, lay down, buddy. I just
Did I wake you up? Was I loud?
this just reminds
No.
me. It reminds me a lot of Unity when they tried to do the whole retroactive pay nonsense, right? And just losing trust in the brand at that point. Like, why do I want to give that brand money? And we talked about earlier, I'm not the main consumer of Game Pass in my household, even though I'm the main gamer. It's my wife. If honestly at this point, if it was up to me, I would just get rid of Game Pass because I don't use it. You know what I mean? Like, they come out with good things. Like the Persona 3 thing is really cool. They got Pal World, even though that was a little wonky to start with. I don't know if those versions have caught up to each other to be the same. I don't know if they're both still they're offering the same features.
Yeah,
like they were before.
the company's claim is that it's because to get a
certification
patch verified on Xbox, like the console, not on the Game Pass.
Yeah.
Like they said, it's not so much that the issue they're running into is the Game Pass version on PC is the same as the version on Xbox, so they have to go through the console certification, and on Steam they don't have to worry about that. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
I just like Game Pass has a value to it. Like, I'm not denying that, but so far, as somebody who's I would say I'm a pretty avid gamer, I don't see, like, it doesn't bring more value to me than just having Steam. Like, it just doesn't. Granted, first world problem. I'm an American.
Yeah.
Game Pass is obviously a lot better for people who
Also-
don't have like disposable money like that. Like, that's kind of a given.
Also, first world problem. Again, you and
Yeah.
I and Justin all have very large game libraries already.
Yeah.
Like, stupid large.
Right.
In my case, right? Like, I have way too many fucking games.
Yeah.
So Game Pass is while it's the best bang for buck value in gaming, to us, we all have relatively powerful gaming PCs. We all have other options and tons of games that we can play, whether Game Pass exists or not.
Right.
But if you have one device, and let's say it's a mid-range laptop, you have maybe a handful of Steam games that you own, like Skyrim, maybe a couple others. Game Pass is huge value to you. If you have an Xbox and it's your first console and you don't have a library of existing 360 discs and Xbox One discs laying around that you can pop in and play, Game Pass is massive value.
Well, yeah, this thing is going away, unfortunately. So, all right, cool.
Yeah. Well, I almost wonder if they're gonna go the whole removable drive supported route, like, because I mean that's what they've done on desktops. When's the last time you had a disk for your computer? But you can buy an external drive and you can still use your old discs. You just don't do it. Nobody does it because it's fucking dumb. But
I don't know.
You can.
Did you see?
one.
I don't know. I do have one. I don't have an internal one. I have an external one. But
That's what I was saying.
Dude,
though.
yeah,
What I'm
yeah.
saying is you just get a USB external one and you can just
Yeah.
use it that way.
did you see? This is off topic from the Xbox stuff. What Sony's doing with Crunchyroll and Funimation? I've shared it in the chat earlier. Yeah, that's kind of
fucked up.
bullshit. Just they're like, yeah, we know you bought these digital libraries, but get fucked. And that's kind of the other piece of this with the Xbox thing is if they do decide to go away from the console further, which I forgot to say this earlier, but I do think that if they continue to have a console, they just need to go balls deep in the fucking handheld market and call it a day. That's really where I think they should go personally.
They are subsidizing the costs for other people to do that. And the interesting thing right now is that there's this YouTuber called The Fox who reviews gaming handhelds.
Yeah.
He has speculated for a long time that Xbox is closer to making a current gen handheld console than Sony is because the Series S exists. So there's already low spec versions of games that developers have had to develop for that. So all of this, he was like, all this talk about a PlayStation 5 portable being next. That's not realistic. Sony doesn't have
That's a
that
good point.
that architecture in place. Xbox does.
Yeah.
However, the route that they've been going is Microsoft, Xbox, is subsidizing Asus, Lenovo, MSI, these laptop manufacturers to make gaming handhelds.
Mm.
So it's another one of those things where the play isn't Xbox OS. It's not the 30% cut that they get from people selling through the Windows or Xbox store. It's Game Pass. It's why those all come with 1 to 3 month trial cards of Game Pass.
Oh, do they come with those? I didn't even know.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I
the
just-
ROG
I just-
Ally and Legion Go. Yeah, they absolutely do. I am presuming that the Claw will as well because Microsoft is, from what I understand, subsidizing that cost.
Yeah.
It's why it doesn't happen on Steam right now because Steam has none of Microsoft's money. It's all Gaben's money. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, I think if their ultimate goal is just Game Pass more places, give it to everybody, more money for us, that also in the future, let's say this is a fucked up thought. Let's say this is a really long play. Let's say this
it is
isn't
a
a
really
next
long
gen.
play.
Let's say it's not a next gen play, it's a next gen play. Let's say Sony does stagnate and the PS7 or whatever it winds up being isn't that great. Well, guess who has all of this money to dump into a console because Game Pass has been on PlayStation 5 and 6 and Switch 2 and all this shit for a fucking decade, 10 years from now. What does that look like? You know what I'm saying? Like they already have we can do whatever the fuck we want money, but what if they have we can just like fucking not just buy you out, but we can just afford to lose hundreds of dollars on every console we sell. Here's this.
They're already there right now. That's why that doesn't really make sense to me. They already have that money.
They do
literally
but
right
right,
now. Like
but what
there
we
are
were
$3
talking
trillion
about was-
there's two $3 trillion companies in the fucking planet, and it's
Yeah.
Apple and Microsoft.
But where I'm going with this is Sony has stagnated one time in the console space, and it was the one time that Xbox kind of won a generation.
Yeah, they didn't.
The-
The
the-
360.
The 360 and the PS3. The 360 was a better machine. It for a long time outsold the PS3. I think ultimately they wound up being about even. The PS3 may have ultimately outsold it a little bit.
Yeah, they did.
But like for a long time, the 360 dominated because they did stagnate one time. So I'm not going to say it's not possible for Sony to stagnate. It doesn't happen often. Sony typically is like high-end shit for a reason. The amount of engineering that they put into some of their stuff, even if it does look like a fucking Alienware router, is wild. Is absolutely wild. Even if I do have to buy fucking third-party plates to make my PS5 not look like it wants to pop its collar at a fucking frat party, is insane. They do some really cool shit. So I don't know. I'm not gonna say that that's like that is the play, but it could be. And
I will
don't
say
know.
I do understand not wanting to have things in a walled garden and stuff like that.
That
but
sucks. I hate
yeah,
walled
I
gardens.
know,
I hate
and
exclusive
and
shit.
I don't disagree with that. I just, as once again, as somebody who was, especially right now, after Xbox bought Activision Blizzard and stuff like that, like they're really in a position to strengthen the brand going forward and just the cadence and stuff. And they're just like, nah, fuck it. Like that's what it feels like. They're like, nah, fuck it. We have this other idea. We don't care that you guys bought an Xbox for us. We're just gonna just do Game Pass subscriptions, right? And that might be the plan going forward. But like it doesn't make me as a consumer want to consume their products, because if we're being perfectly honest, if we're talking about first party games for fucking Xbox, the best one that's come out has been Starfield, and that was a 7.5, 8. You know what I mean? Like, and as it's gotten into more hands, it's just gotten fucking review bombed to hell basically at this point. So like that, like I don't know. It just
Xbox first party has been weak.
Yeah, it hasn't been good. They've had a lot of good third party. Palworld is probably the best example of the third party. They have 7 million people playing that fucking game on Game Pass. Like
Is that not available on PS5? Is it not going
Palworld?
to PS5 ever? Yeah.
I think it will be a PS5 edition eventually, but the fact that they have 7 million people playing it right now is like such a boon for Game Pass out the gate.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that shit's just fucking crazy.
I almost, where did my brain go?
I know you've been talking for a long time, so I wouldn't blame you if you lost your train of thought. Actually, you know what? Let's give Justin a chance to talk, because we've been going at it for a minute. Do you got any more thoughts on this, Justin, now that we've kind of been going at it for a little while?
Not really. No. I mean, I'm buying a PlayStation 5 for literally one video game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy it if I could buy the game on PC within a reasonable amount of time. So yeah.
So there's your
like Xbox.
There's your proof that exclusivity does work.
Yeah.
But also, I don't think that's a good thing. I think in an ideal world, games are platform agnostic. I understand that is not what PlayStation wants right now.
That's not what Nintendo wants either.
It's not what Nintendo wants either. But
Nintendo is never going to give that up either.
No, but also though, if you have a Android or Linux-based gaming handheld, the odds of you not having Yuzu on there right now and having found a loophole around that are slim. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Like, Nintendo's kind of lost that on complete accident.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't think that anyone's saying that platform exclusivity is a boon or is good, but it's definitely a good question to think of how Xbox is going to continue to create goodwill for themselves, because I think this will have some negative repercussions for them, for people who just have an Xbox. Like, well, damn, I wish I bought a PlayStation instead.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
And I wouldn't say Nintendo's lost that when they're arguably worst performing, like literal performance video game ever sold 24.5 million copies. And,
I'm talking about pure piracy, like Nintendo.
But it doesn't matter, because so many people have bought the fucking games. Like it literally has no bearing. They're like, fine, as long as we don't catch you doing it red-handed, fuck it. The 24.5 million copies of Scarlet and Violet, and you can take the assets from Scarlet and Violet, stick it in Mario 64, and can't tell the fucking difference. Like, it's just
really bad.
So yeah, it's so bad. So like, Nintendo is never going to give up exclusivity. They will not. And that's kind of the other piece of this, is like, I understand where you're coming from, where you're saying Xbox lost this 11 years ago. I don't really disagree with that. But I think at this point they were finally getting their footing through this generation and maybe the next generation, to really fight back when it comes to this stuff. And they've decided to just throw in the towel and just, hey, we're just going full Game Pass subscription at this point. But you've made really good arguments on why they would. I mean,
like, from a business perspective, I get it. I'm not saying that it's good in the short term. In the long term, for Microsoft, it's very good. But also, I wonder, had they gone the complete opposite and gone, okay, Diablo, Call of Duty, and everything on its mother is now Xbox exclusive. Kind of like what would the backlash have been for that? Because that, and I don't mean from consumers.
Yeah.
But like, they almost didn't get to acquire Activision because of that.
Right.
Like, it was insane how quickly that went from Xboxes sucks, there's no games, to, oh god, they own all the games, monopoly. Like, I don't know. I don't think there's a win here. Regardless of what Xbox did, they were going to get backlash. Are you putting your games multi-plat? Are you keeping all of them for yourself? If you do something in between, it's just lost revenue one way or another. So they had to, I think ultimately you have to pick one. Splitting the difference is like, I don't know.
Before we get into that, I do have something on that, but Alex over here in the chat said they're going Netflix and PlayStation is going Blockbuster, which I kind of agree. I kind of agree with that a little bit, but because we were talking about earlier before the show, where I was bringing up Netflix and comparing it that way. But no, I will say.
So do you want to fail now or in 20 years? You pick.
Well, my thing is that I think they had the correct plan. Existing IPs like Diablo and Call of Duty and stuff like that should stay multiplayer. I don't think you should take games away from people. But new IPs like Avowed and those kind of things should be exclusive. Avowed, Starfield, all those should be exclusive. Like,
you're talking from like a business standpoint to bolster the brand.
Yeah, because at that point you're not taking anything away from anybody. And you're being, and if those multi-plat games that you're putting out, if they're good, right? Like, let's say we're talking about Diablo 5 and like the next Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Or maybe 2 Call of Duties from now, because the next Call of Duty's probably already been in development for a little while. So the one that's been you've had all the time to like be a part of that development cycle and the whole thing, and those came out good. I think that and then if your first party games have started to become better, right? Because I was just dogging on the first party games 10 minutes ago. If those are becoming better, I think it looks good for the brand, and it incentivizes people to come to the ecosystem. Be like, oh, I can get the multi-plat games that I've liked over on PlayStation, but also now I can also get all these exclusives. Oh, also, if I subscribe to Game Pass, I get them all day one. Like, on PC and or my Xbox. I think they had the correct strategy, because that's what they've been talking about for the past few years. Like, I thought that was perfectly fine. Even when this first started coming out and they were like, Hi-Fi Rush is going to go multiplayer, I was like, that's fine. It's not like it's nobody's buying an Xbox for Hi-Fi Rush. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's wrong for PlayStation people to want to play that. But when you're going to give up what's rumored they're going to give up as of right now, the big flagship brands and Halo and Gears and stuff like that, that's where I think you've now made the mistake. Even Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves has been out for a long time. The player count's probably stagnated. Perfect time. Hey, let's go ahead and put that on PlayStation. Like, that makes sense to me. Because you don't want to kill the game, you want to extend the life cycle. Okay, cool. So yeah, I don't know. Alex had another comment here. He said, and multiplayer ain't a big deal. More people playing is great. I do agree. I do think, like I said, I don't necessarily like walled gardens, but as somebody who bought into the Xbox and the hype and all that kind of stuff, yeah, why would I continue to buy your product is at this point, if this is the route that they're going. That's just kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, it seems weird, but maybe that's where they're at. Like, we don't care if you buy an Xbox ever again. We're going to make them in case you want them. But if you want to just buy a PlayStation, go for it.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's weird. I still don't think PlayStation will allow Game Pass on because they have PS Plus. So I still don't think that's ever going to happen. And I don't think that'll ever happen for Nintendo either, because they want to sell unless Nintendo requires you to have their online subscription, and then you have to buy an Xbox subscription on top of that to be able to play it on a Switch. And then there's already an extra barrier kind of thing. So I still don't see that happening. So if you just start selling Halo on PlayStation, like, I don't know. that's just kind of how I see it. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
interesting to see. PlayStation has traditionally been the holdout when it comes to
Yeah.
multi-platform things. Like they were the
Mhm.
last console to allow cross-play for Fortnite, I believe
Right.
it was.
Yeah.
So something must have changed at like a high level where this deal can even possibly happen.
Well, it's not like Xbox and PlayStation have never had dealings before. I don't know if you remember this, but like all the cloud services that Sony uses for their PlayStation stuff is Xbox.
Oh, sure, they use the
is Microsoft
Azure.
stuff. Yeah, the Azure stuff or whatever. So like it's not like they don't come together on some things from time to time, but normally there was always the healthy competition. Well, I say healthy. I mean, if we're being totally honest, PlayStation tried to stomp Xbox out last generation, like stomp
Very
them out of
aggressive.
fucking existence, right? Like, with the whole meme of like, this is how we share games, and they just like handed it to each other, which was
Yeah.
fantastic, right? And it almost worked. I bought a
that was
PlayStation
really
4. I did not buy an Xbox One for a long time. And the only reason I did is because I had deployment money. Like I had extra money and it made sense. So I went ahead and got an Xbox One. But I started out on PlayStation 4. I was playing Killzone and all that stuff. I was like, Xbox, y'all dumb. Like I'm not doing all this shit, blah, blah, blah. Turns out they're a little bit ahead of their time with some of their features and stuff like that. But yeah, man,
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. So, but I don't know where Tim went, but since he's not
He's
here to
muted.
say,
Yeah.
since he's not here to say bye, I just wanted to get your thoughts real quick on Switch 2 this year. What do you think? Good.
I'm excited.
Excited?
I think the Switch has had a good, healthy life. I'm ready to see them do something new. I'll be happy as long as Nintendo Switch Online carries over to the new system. Because before, what they do is like, okay, we're going from the Wii to the Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
You have to buy all your shit all over again. We're not carrying anything over. So they
that would piss me
really
off.
need to let us keep the games that we have, and
Yeah.
like all of our like digital, like I'm playing Golden Sun on their
Yeah.
virtual console right now.
Yeah.
If I can't take my progress to the Switch 2 and play it on there, I will be very disappointed.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see if there are new gimmicks for it as well. Because, Nintendo traditionally, they don't do a new console unless like there's something like revolutionary about it.
Right.
But with their handhelds, they do a lot of iterations of the same kind of shit.
Yeah. They
So
do.
with the Switch being a mix of the two, I'll be curious to see what route they go.
Yeah. One last thing from Alex here about the Xbox stuff is he said, we'll see what happens, but I don't think all the doom and gloom is true, which I hope it's not. Right. But it didn't help that they did it with the whole, when it came to that, they're like, we're going to have a like a live stream or something next week. Like this gives everybody a week to like fret about this stuff, really.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I will say the thing that pisses me off about the Switch 2 is that from what the people they've been reporting is they're going back to an LED screen. And we all know they're going back to a fucking LED screen, so in a year they can come out with a goddamn OLED.
The OLED
I'm so
I saw
irritated with
news.
that.
I was very surprised by that. Like, are we really doing this, Nintendo?
Yeah, I wasn't happy about that. And then I wanted to get your thoughts. This is what I thought about earlier when you were talking about Pokemon Unite. What would your feelings be if, because the rumor is right now on Pokemon Day, they are going to reveal Let's Go Johto and Let's Go Johto and Wooper and Togepi are going to be the mascots. What would you be? I don't know. Were you a fan of the Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee
No,
games?
I didn't like it at all. I didn't enjoy them. I played for like 20 minutes, and I thought what was it? You just throw the Pokeball, right?
Yeah,
the
the only combat is in between you and other trainers. You don't combat out in the wild.
Yeah, I missed fighting the wild Pokemon, and I didn't continue playing it. I was very disappointed by that, which is funny because in Arceus, I love just being able to whip a Pokeball at a Pokemon and catch it.
Yeah.
But
Well, you can also beat the shit out of
I
them
didn't care
if you
for
want.
it.
Yeah,
there's
players
the option to beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, players love choice, right?
Yes.
And they took away the choice in Let's Go. I will say I did play a little bit of Let's Go, and I understood why Let's Go came out at the time. Because it was 2018. I was in Korea. This is why I remember this so vividly. and like it was 2 years after Pokemon Go had come out,
Right.
and they were
Right,
trying to get
capitalizing
people,
on that.
yeah, they were trying to get people from Pokemon Go onto the console to start playing those Pokemon games. So like I understood that. I will not understand, because we're 8 years into Pokemon Go at this point, and they've had some iffy shit happen over like with their big, like, I don't know, like they have those meetings and stuff in Seattle and all these other like
the
big
fests.
the Go Fest kind of thing. They have these huge meetings and stuff, and they normally don't go well from everything I've read.
A lot of issues, yeah.
Yeah, so I just
Technical
don't
problems. Yeah.
I don't understand why you would come out. They need another Legends game is what they need. If they
Fuck
did
yeah, dude.
Legends
Arceus
Johto,
kicked ass.
if they did like a Legends Celebi kind of thing, or a Legends with I don't know, three legendary dogs and stuff like that from
Dude,
Crystal and all that
oh
stuff.
my god, yes.
Yeah,
They could
like,
do that with each region, honestly. Just
Oh,
go back in
100%.
time. Each region, I'm down. I'll play
Yeah.
that shit. Arceus
Yeah.
was super fun. It had its flaws, but it was so refreshing. It was
Yeah.
genuinely interesting. The mechanics they introduced were cool.
Yeah.
Whereas Scarlet and Violet was like, wow, this sucks.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, the downfall for Scarlet and Violet is the performance issues of the game, right?
That was huge.
Because I think if it was a steady 30, like wherever I went, I can get over the graphics. But you go to like, I forget what the lake's called, but one of the lakes, and it literally slows down to like 10 frames. I'm like, come on, it is 2023,
Dude, you can't have a like huge game like this for your console running at those frames. That's just unacceptable.
I just hate that like we both know they would never treat Zelda like that. They'll never treat Mario like that.
Yeah, Nintendo first party game would never be that, and that is in everything but name. That's what Pokemon is.
Well, and at the end of the day, I think Pokemon makes way more money for them, even if you're just looking at the video games, then because Scarlet and Violet sold 24 million. I think Tears of the Kingdom. Now, granted, Scarlet and Violet's been out for like 2 or 3 months longer, I think. But like, it's only a difference of like 2 or 4 million. But it's still like Pokemon's still outselling like Tears of the Kingdom, kind of. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
yeah, just the nature of the IP. Yeah,
yeah, like it just sells like fucking hotcakes, and you can release multiple versions. So you had in like an
People are buying
18
two versions.
right. Well, and you have in like an 18-month period, they basically had Legends Arceus, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl remakes, and Scarlet and Violet, and people bought all of them.
Yeah.
So it's just an insane. I don't know, man. It's just so that I'm disappointed with all that. But yeah, Switch 2
that is another concern for the Switch 2. Like, where's the hardware going to be at? What is it going to be like? I know the first party games are going to run great on it, but it'd be nice if it could, handle stuff a little better.
Yeah. It would. I mean, it better. I mean, in the world we're in right now, with the rise of other handhelds and stuff like that, like Nintendo, I still think Nintendo will never give up its exclusivity kind of thing. But people aren't just gonna like Tim said, like Yuzu, like that could eventually start cutting into it a little bit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Will it be enough for them to care? I have no idea. But I mean, I play very old games on my Steam Deck, and now I have and I have the Steam Deck dock. So I can get Burnout 3 running on that bitch and put it on my TV, and it runs like a fucking dream. And I'm playing with my Xbox controller, which honestly, hey, if there's one thing I'll still buy from Microsoft on it, if it comes to like all the doom and gloom, the Elite controllers are the best fucking controllers on the market. I'm not changing. That is the one thing I will 100% still buy. Going. Yeah, dude, the fucking Elite controllers are great. So. Anyways, I was hoping Tim would come back, but we have been talking for almost an hour and a half. It is late o'clock, and I have to be up early as shit. So this has been Our Life in Pixels. I hope you liked listening to us argue about this Xbox situation. And if you did, we'll be back next Wednesday. We're on right around 10 Central-ish. Sometimes we talk about video games. Sometimes we play video games. If you look last week, Tim and I played Pal World, and I think we played Pal World the week before. And we're just here. We have a good time. Anyways,
Right here, we're gaming.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I'm back.
You good?
Hey.
I'm wrapping
Yeah,
up,
Just
bud.
closing up.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
have any?
I heard most of that.
Okay.
I was also
Preoccupied.
my auntie called me twice, so I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
Do you have any closing thoughts, Tim, before we go for the night?
Play more games. Also, enjoy Xbox while it lasts.
There we go.
You got anything, Justin?
If you've had your Ethernet cables for 10 years, you probably need to buy new Ethernet cables. Don't be like me.
Oh my god,
Going
that's
from
funny.
Cat 3 to Cat
Tripled
6.
Yeah, dude, I tripled my download speeds, so watch
Oh,
out for
man.
that.
My closing thought is, if you're not interested in Pal World, just know in 2 months, not even next month, Dragon's Dogma 2, baby. I hope you guys are hyped because I'm
It's
fucking
such
ready.
that's such a
I'm ready
different
for it. I'm
vibe.
ready for it.
If you're not interested in Pal World,
Well, I mean,
Dragon's
Pal World's
Dogma,
Pal
Dark
World's
Souls, but crazier.
Pal World
Like,
sold
what?
like 20 million copies. So if I'm
I
gonna
know,
guess
but
what the
you're
next big
insane.
hit is this year, even though
money
Helldivers
on that.
has jumped Pal World right now on sales charts on Steam. Obviously it's not total sales, but just how fast they're selling.
You just,
Uh,
I thought you were
Dragon's
going,
Dogma
I
2.
thought you were going. I reviewed this game like on Steam like forever ago, and the conclusion that I put in it was like, because it has like dinosaurs and shit in it,
Yeah.
and my I think my review was, I literally got eaten by a Spinosaurus. If you don't know what a Spinosaurus is, it's basically a Godzilla. This is like Halo, but dinosaurs. If you don't like dinosaurs, then fuck you. That was my entire review.
Incredible.
All right, man.
That's basic. If you don't like Pal World,
yeah.
Dragon's Dogma, I guess. Hope you like
Yeah.
pain. I don't understand.
Yeah, look, I hope you like
Where are you
Dragon's
going
Dogma.
with this?
He's going to
it's-
Dragon's Dogma because we're
yeah.
gonna play it. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
we
great.
are. Oh, God, we got to make pawns for each other. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yep,
Anyways,
I'm
all right,
excited.
look, we got to wrap it up. We've been talking for an hour and a half. We love you. We will be back next Wednesday at 10. Come back for more discourse of me and Tim yelling at each other. Love you. Bye.
Bye. I didn't yell.